Hey, business owners, if you're trying to take your brick and mortar business online, this is the perfect podcast for you. We're going to talk about what kind of platform you need to have to make this happen, whether you should be doing online advertising, SEO, how to find your market, and how to create the same exact process and systems that you would have in store that you can do online as well. So we're going to talk about all of that and more. If you're super interested in taking your brick and mortar business online, then take a listen.
This is the Marketing Natives, providing actionable ways to grow, improve, and succeed in your business. And now, your hosts, Christian and Aaron.
So I think the number one thing that you need to figure out is your platform, right, that you want to use. Choosing an e-commerce platform, it's based on your preference. Obviously, we work a lot with Shopify. That's definitely our bread and butter when it comes to e-commerce. Although Webflow, which is our other platform that we use to build websites, also has some good capabilities in there that they just added last year, and they're just improving every single month. But besides those two, obviously, the combination of WordPress and WooCommerce is very, very popular, as well as something like BigCommerce, among others. I mean, there's a plethora of options for your e-commerce store. These are probably some of the biggest players out there, and probably one of the ones that you should be looking at in terms of pricing, features, how common they are, how popular, and then the amount of people in the community that are helping each other in educational material. You'll definitely be able to do whatever you want with those platforms.
I think that's a good point too, is that there may be a cheaper alternative out there. There's like Wicked or Iquid or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. But the point is that like something like a WooCommerce or like BigCommerce or Shopify, they have communities of people who have ran into the same problems, and they're helping each other. So it's like, you may save $10 a month by going with somebody else, but at the end of the day, you're going to spend like hours trying to figure out a problem that nobody else has ran into before. So that is, I think that's a good point with inside of point one, which is pick a platform that's going to work for you, but also think about ones that have people have already tested out for you. There's no reason to recreate the wheel on that. So
yeah, I do want to touch with choosing your platform. Once you choose your platform, if you're wanting to, or you're doing this by yourself, then, when you choose your platform, you're also picking some sort of theme to build your store upon. And I don't think we'd necessarily talk or have any points for that. So I just want to throw this in here now. So something to consider would be a theme. And then after that, it's like figuring out your payment processing, where, a lot of people are using Stripe. And I think that's definitely something that we would probably recommend as far as your payment processing. Stripe, or if you're using Shopify, then Shopify has their own Shopify payments, which is also highly recommended. But those are, I guess, some things to consider when you're choosing your platform. Then you're probably picking a theme within that platform so you can build your store. And then one of the next big important parts or aspects is your merchant processing, right? So how are you going to accept payments? So you have to incorporate that into that platform as well.
Right, and I was going to say, which brings up the number two, which is figuring out a way that you can sell your products in the store and online. There are plenty of options for you to do a POS system. I feel like, I don't know, I see 3 or 4 different people per week who have different companies that I've never heard of or didn't hear it before, but you've heard of like Swipe It, maybe Clover, Square. So there's PayPal has something. There's a ton of them out there. But what you should look at is, does that processor, does it connect with your online store too? Because the last thing that you want to do if you have a decent amount of inventory is like track if somebody buys something in store, oh dang, I got to hurry up and remove that online, because if somebody shops in the middle of the night and they purchase it, now I don't have that product, I can't sell it. So it becomes a problem depending on what kind of products that you're selling if you don't have really good inventory management. So we almost suggest that you find a POS system that's going to incorporate or integrate rather into the exact same platform that you're going to use online as offline. The only one that I'm familiar with, and that's just because we've used Shopify a lot more, is that their POS system is like free and it does track inventory for online and for your in-store. I'm sure that there are others out there, but I'm not aware of those. Maybe Christian knows. But I think that's just an added feature, because one of the things that was an issue with one of our clients was that they were like, hey, we got to barcode everything. And then we have to have I think she had 2 separate rooms before she got the POS from Shopify. And she's like, this is my online store and this is my in-store options. And then she's like, do I just not tell the people in store that I have these options when they want to sell it? Do I lose a sale because I put things in 2 different rooms versus the same inventory management? So that's a big piece you need to figure out, how you're going to track those purchases in your I don't know, the process for that.
Right. And I think that's why Shopify is such a good platform. It's because you can integrate both of those. So you can integrate the POS and you can integrate your online, as well as, you have your online, which I'm saying online referring to the website, but within the online, you can also have inventory on Facebook, on Instagram, and sell on these other platforms as well, right inside of Shopify. So I think that's why Shopify is so powerful, is because you have this central location where you can have all your products in there, and then sort of distribute them to these channels, right? So you have your POS channel, you have your online store channel, you have your Facebook channel, and you're just able to sort of distribute your products in that sense. And that's something that also you need to determine is, do you want to offer your whole catalog online or vice versa, or on your brick and mortar store? Those are all decisions that you will have to make. And also on top of that, something that you may not have to worry about when you have your brick and mortar store, but it's categorizing your products, right? And how your customers actually shop. So let's say that your customers, they actually are always looking for brands, right? They go in the store and they're always asking for, I need your Miss Me jeans or whatever. Okay, the Miss Me's are in this section over here at the store. So that means that more than likely, they're probably going to shop somewhat similar to how they shop in your store. So you might want to categorize Miss Me's as a category. So that means that on your navigation in your store, you should have brands, right? And then the drop down of all your brands. So your audience can find those items a lot easier.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like what Christian's saying is, you technically categorize your stuff in the store. It's just like layout and design versus like on a website. And we'll talk about this a little bit later, but how to get that experience online as you do offline, because it's definitely something to navigate. But that is something I think very important to realize, is that you need to try to match as much as possible how people are going to shop. So, stealing ideas from bigger retailers like H&M or Macy's or somebody may be a pretty good idea too. Mm-hmm. All right. Number 3, focus on your market. So let's, for example, people get really big eyes when you tell them that they can market to the whole world, or like literally, let's just say everybody in the US or something, when they're normally going to market to like, I don't know, a 5-mile radius, and then you tell them that they can send their product everywhere. They kind of get their eyes really big. And they're like, oh, I just want to market to like, my demographic is like all women. And it's like, no, you really can't do that. So if you know that what's selling in store is doing really well, you should probably focus on that audience online too. It means that you do have a bigger audience. So let's just say you have, instead of 10,000, maybe you have millions, but it doesn't mean that you just literally go from tens of thousands to literally half the population of the US, which is women. It doesn't work that way. So you should really focus on, hey, older women love my product, or younger moms love my product, whatever it is. Like, you should still have that feel and that vibe to sell to those people online too, because it's a crowded space online just as much as it is in retail. So that's I think a common misconception. Yeah, absolutely.
I can definitely see how, people think like, oh, I have the internet, and the internet, it just opens these doors, to do everything, anything. And that's probably the opposite strategy that we're definitely telling you to do, which you will do better off by concentrating on this niche market. And then in the long run, and when you start advertising, it's going to help you tremendously with your messaging, right? You're going to have a more concise, more precise message to a very niche audience, instead of just trying to, you know, what is the phrase? Throw darts at a, I don't know what the phrasing is. Anyways, but you definitely want to be more targeted in what you have to offer. And obviously, when you're building, the website and structuring things, that will also help you, right? Knowing that you're catering to this particular audience, it will make things just a lot easier.
Yeah, I think to your point, since you do get it opened up more, it's like the people who are diehard with your type of product, like people, let's say, for example, people love coffee mugs. If you had a website that was specifically for coffee mugs, then that community of people, there's probably, I don't know, 100,000 people in the US who are like diehard coffee mug lovers, and they'll just buy whatever. So those people, it's like, would you rather have 100,000 people who will buy every product that you ever put out, or target to 1 million people who are going to maybe buy never? So it's like, have that really active group of people is almost 10 times better than, I don't know, just trying to go to everybody. So
yeah,
definitely niche down.
All right, so this is the part where we talk a little bit about us, and really what I want to talk to you about is our website calculator. If everything that we're saying in this episode makes sense to you and it's something that you want to accomplish even in the next month, that's something that we can help you with. Now, if you're wondering, I don't know if I can afford to have someone build and structure and deal with all this, then we've created a simple website cost calculator. All you have to do is input some information about your business and what you plan to sell in your store, and it will spit out a number, and we'll give you a ballpark number of how much it will cost us to create that website for you. This website calculator takes into account a lot of different factors. It has about 14 questions, I believe. And it gives you a ballpark number so you can kind of get started at least with how much something like this would cost. I know in this episode, we're kind of talking about some sort of top level things. It's not very, you need to go to this website and sign up for this. So obviously there is a lot more steps to, taking your brick and mortar online, and we can definitely help you from A to Z during this process. All you have to do is go to calculator.bitbranding.co and fill out the questionnaire in there. It's about 14 questions. It will spit out a number, and then we'll follow up with you to see if you want to follow through and work with us.
Awesome. And we're back. And just so you know, Christian also added this on our website. So if that was hard for you to go to, just go to bitbranding.co, and under our resources tab, we have it there as well. So super other convenient way for you to go and find it.
Yeah, I forgot to put that in there.
Yeah. Okay. So number 4 is to prep your customers before your launch and for your launch. You should have already, if not, depending on how long you've been a brick and mortar business, maybe you're launching at the same time as your online business. So this wouldn't necessarily apply to you, but let's say you've been in business for at least 6 months before you decided, hey, I need to sell online. You should have some kind of Facebook followers. You should have some kind of email list. And if not, this is hopefully your wake up call to go and do that. But just keep them updated. Like, hey, you love coming into our store, but it's raining outside and you don't want to come out. Don't worry. You can shop online, and this is coming soon. Or, hey, you're in another town or another state, and you can't get into the store and you really want to pick up these jeans. Well, great. You can reserve them online. You can purchase online. So just getting your customers used to the ability for them to have the same great experience online if they want to. You don't have to tell them, hey, don't come into the store. That's not the point. It's just giving them more options and just letting them know. So that way, when you launch, you have a much better chance of like, hey, let's get some sales. That kind of, I think those first 3 or 4 sales are so important because it just kind of helps boost your morale. Like, I got this website and now I've got actual sales. So you got momentum going forward. And that's really what it's for. It's not really to make a bunch of money. It's just to help you get that momentum to tell you that you can do it, which you can. I'm telling you that right now. But just go out there and kind of prime your audience to have them ready to purchase some things online for you and just kind of support you.
Yeah. And I think with that as well, I want to add in another tidbit. When you're looking into, building something like this, and Aaron mentioned some of these things about, purchasing, maybe coming in and picking up in store. These are all things that you can set up through Shopify. as far as like their shipping, right? So when you're thinking about building this, another big thing to consider is, shipping, and looking at different ways that you can do that. Where right now, a lot of people are doing curbside or pickup. Again, that's something that you can do within Shopify very easily, and it's free to them. And it's just thinking about those options ahead of time will also, help you with this whole process. So thinking about ways on how do you do shipping, and it could be that you already have some sort of shipping partner like FedEx or UPS or whatever, and you get calculated rates. These are all things that you can connect to with Shopify as well.
Yeah. Another good option for you is ShipStation. It's not really related to this, but ShipStation shops like all of them, like UPS, FedEx, everything, USPS, and will give you the best rate for it. So ShipStation's pretty cool. Not an ad. Maybe they should sponsor us, but it is free advice there. Number 5, don't expect to have success overnight. So I know in number 4, I said prep your customers to get sales, but if that doesn't happen, do not worry. This is not like I feel like if you started a retail location, you've been in business for a few years, you probably realize that it takes time to build a customer base. It takes time to build loyalty. The same thing happens online. There's millions upon millions, if not billions of websites that are out there, and probably millions of websites that offer something similar that you do. So don't expect that people are just going to leave the brand that they love and have loyalty to and then just go shop at yours. So it's not going to happen overnight. You may get lucky and it may happen overnight if you have an amazing product, an amazing offering, and you get it in front of the right people. But more than likely, it will not happen that way. So just continue to work at it and realize that it's the long game and not just give up on us making the switch. Because I'll tell you right now, sometimes it takes longer than you expect to switch, then replace your boutique or replace your retail location revenue from in-store to online. You're like, oh, I've got it to this point. You're like, yes. But eventually online should be able to, if I do believe that it could surpass what you're doing in the retail location. It's just going to take time. You got to put in that effort to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I would say my number 1 tip for trying to create as much success overnight would be to mimic what the big store retailers are doing, and even Amazon, because people have been not brainwashed, but educated into free shipping, into free returns, into knowing your packing tracking number. So all these little things that you kind of take for granted from the big stores and Amazon are little things that you should also incorporate, within your store, because it will make the user experience and your customer experience just that much better, right? They're gonna look at
professional too, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna look at you like, okay, you know exactly what you're doing. You actually have all these details, packed down, and I know where my package is. I know the communication is there, and I think that's key in order to do that. I feel like a lot of stores early on, maybe they don't have the money to spend on, adding these things. But I think in the long run, especially starting out, it helps you stand out from everyone else in smaller stores who may not have the infrastructure or the knowledge of doing something like that. But I think mimicking the bigger stores and some of the things that they're doing, it's definitely going to help you bring in more success more rapidly.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to adapt to the people who have already been accustomed to the way they shop online. Mm-hmm. You try to make them do something different. It's like that friction, and they're like, "Oh, I don't like this." So then they move away.
Just stripping, like even the tracking number. That's something that we take for granted, but a lot of smaller shops online, they don't offer that, right? They don't offer a for you to track your package and all this stuff. So just adding something as simple as that can make a big change.
Yeah. And I enjoy tracking my packages from Amazon. So I think everybody loves it. Like when you order something, you're excited about it right then. And then it used to be until you saw it, you received it, then you thought about it again. You're like, oh yeah, I got that. But now brands have an opportunity to like keep people excited the whole way. So like this may be a little bit more advanced, maybe probably something we didn't necessarily mention, but if you could add something cool or unique to the experience, it's would be better. I think Pizza Hut's done stuff like that, or like Domino's, where like it's on the way. So like you can see like the little car and it's like, hey, your food's hot and ready and it's coming, and it's like a little play car and you're like, okay, it's so close. Like it's on my corner. Like Uber does stuff like that. So it's like the car's almost delivered to you. And so they kind of gamified it a little bit. And that to me is like next level kind of stuff. Maybe not something you need to do now, but like if you know that you only sold one, going back to the coffee mugs, it's like, you like with a smiling face, like you're this close to drinking really good coffee out of your mug, like, you know, or one day away or something like that. So I just think that you could find some unique ways to kind of keep that experience going. That's probably a little advanced, but I think that, you know, long term, that would be something cool to have for you to add to the product. So something to think about.
All right. And then the last item we have here is online. It's a pay to play space. Just like Aaron said, you know, having success overnight, it's really hard. Obviously, there are things that you can implement to help you with that. But in order to truly grow, you have to have some sort of marketing strategy in place, whether that's SEO, social media advertising, affiliate marketing. You need to have something to help fuel that fire or start that fire, right? So just be prepared to spend some money on marketing online.
Yeah. And it's, you know, right now anyway, it's really, really inexpensive for you to run like Facebook or Instagram ads. But another option is for you, like if you're a clothing store, like look at influencers, look at affiliates. If you are, let's just say, I don't know, not a retail, again, you're going back to the coffee mug or whatever. If somebody is looking for like tea or coffee mugs or something like that, you should probably focus on SEO. If you could be the top of Google or on the first page, that's a bunch of free traffic that you'll get. I mean, afterwards, you do have to pay for SEO if you don't do it yourself. But then once you've done it, you put in that work, then it lasts forever or until somebody knocks you off. So it's like a long-term strategy there. But I just tell you that just setting up the website and then just thinking that it's going to just generate traffic over time, it will, but not at the magnitude or at the level that you would. Now, if you built a website in early 2000 and you just put on there like, you know, I sell mugs or I sell tea, you probably could have ranked and you probably would have got a lot of business because there's not as much, but now there's more competition. So you got to focus on a way to drive customers to your spot. So don't, what I was going to say, don't overthink it, but also make sure that this is part of your strategy. And these tips here, these 6 things, these are what should be going on. Like you shouldn't just do them in order. We didn't put them necessarily like there are some of them that have to happen first, like picking your platform, but they're not necessarily in specific order saying, wait till you get to step 1 to get to step 2 to step 3. It's more of like use the 6 of them to kind of mold your strategy to help take your brick and mortar business online. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening to this. If you are a brick and mortar business and you're like, how the heck do I get this to go online? Please go over to bitbranding.co, shoot us an email. Do you want to start a new project? We'll at least give you some more information about it. And if you're super serious and you would like a 45-minute strategy session about how to take this online, it's completely free. Go to apply.bitbranding.co. You'll pick a time that works for you and then fill out a questionnaire that just answers some few things to help us learn more about your business. And then we'll sit down with you and or virtually more than likely, do something like maybe Zoom, and we will cover how to take the right steps to set up the strategy you need to make sure that your business is able to make a smooth transition from brick and mortar to online. So, and if you've been listening, or rather, if this has been your first time listening, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We put out new episodes every single week. And if you are a longtime listener and you're like, hey, dang, I have a brick and mortar location, or I have a business that could really benefit from this episode and I got a lot of value out of this, please go over to Apple Podcasts and leave us an honest rating and review. It helps us grow. Apple Podcasts loves it and it reaches more people and helps us create better podcast episodes for you guys. So make sure you go over there and leave us that honest rating and review. And we will talk to you guys next week.
The Marketing Natives Podcast is a production of BitBranding.